Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the I'm a Big Fat Dumbass. Apparently, I did not click the button for this stream to go to YouTube. It was playing fine on Rumble, and thanks to those Rumbleites that were actually watching, all point 0.5 of you. Bo, sorry about the mix-up. How you doing, man?
I'm here.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm here, man. Just trying
yeah.
to do what I can to grow the hobby. Did you watch Richard Bloodworth's video yesterday about his take on dungeon tubers and
Yeah, I was
what?
watching it right before the show. He asked me to collab with him and do my take on it, which I will do maybe this afternoon or tomorrow, or maybe I'll wait till Monday. It's live now, thanks, Dean. Yeah, he told us that, hey, you're not live on YouTube. I don't know what's going on, and the timer was going and all that, and we were sitting here having a conversation and blah blah blah, and Dean had to leave, and then he came back and said, hey, you're not live, and I'm like, what? Of course I'm live. It says I'm live. Yeah, live on Rumble. I love Rumble, but nobody loves Rumble. Uh, the way, I don't know, a couple of people I know love it, and I'd never go there. But I am going to copy the link here so I can send the new link over to Discord because, like I said, I'm a big fat idiot, and I don't know how that happened because I was pretty good about it. I'm, you know, pretty versed at doing this. I do this every day. What the? But I guess I just forgot to hit that one particular button, which, okay, Discord, you're pissing me off.
I was just curious if you watched that video because I've got a lot of mixed feelings about it. At least half of his point, because I think it is a multi-part point, but it's like he's talking about the like big dungeon tubers and they're not getting the clicks or the views or whatever, and he says that they should be collaborating, and it presupposes that I give a rat's ass what the big dungeon tubers think at all. I don't watch their stuff. I don't care about their stuff. I don't care if they're not watching my stuff. So why should I want to why should I care if they hype smaller content creators, or why should I care if they collaborate with smaller creators? I can't be bothered to care about a bunch of people who want to make YouTube their job.
Well, I would love to make YouTube my job, but there are a bunch of us who've made past 10,000 subscriber kind of thing, and they do what they can to help folks out. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for YouTubers bigger than myself. Max Liao and Bruce and even Biggest Geekus. When they were a thing, which I then went and surpassed before they gave up the ghost. Um, but it's there's a whole bunch of different things going on, and because he's approaching, you know, hitting the big time, as it were. I mean, I figure if you make it to 1,000, that's remarkable. If you make it to 5,000, that's nice. That's really nice. 10K, you must be doing something right for 10,000 people to give enough of a shit to have actually hit the subscribe or like button, because I am amazed when I watch my own videos and check, and other people too. The laziness of people, too lazy to hit those two buttons, is absolutely stunning. Or if you believe the conspiracy theorists that YouTube takes numbers away, which I've literally seen in real time on this channel, so I can't call them paranoid. I know it happens. I know they do it. When we were cruising up to 1,000, uh, numbers would disappear, not just on our subscribers, but on our view count. We would hit, X number of 100 views, and then the next day it was down to 90. And I'm like, that's impossible. 100 people didn't just like magically erase the fact that they watched the video. You know what I mean?
I
That's not,
Right.
that's not,
There's other stuff going on behind the scenes with YouTube. Like
oh, absolutely. That's what I was getting to. For example.
Uh-oh, I'm gone again.
No,
Okay,
you're back.
my back. Every
Well,
time somebody
okay.
clicks like, that affects the algorithm, right? That if I click like on a video, that means I'm going to get more videos ostensibly like that in my feed. So I can see a lot of people watching videos and intentionally not clicking like
Hmm.
because they don't want to color the algorithm by getting more videos like that. So I don't begrudge anybody that
Hmm.
doesn't click like on every video.
Hmm.
And I'm also not such a narcissist. Like when I make a video, I do it for me. I don't really, and I even say that, hey, it's like it's the Ron Swanson approach. Like if you like, don't if you don't, subscribe if you want. It's still a free country, at least for the content you consume.
Ostensibly.
Well, you consume what you want. You can still turn it off.
Hmm. You say that, but
You
I
can't
can't
turn it
turn
off.
it.
You can't go outside and
Even if
whatever.
I go outside, I want to listen to something. I lately I've been on a learning kick where I'm trying to learn things from the videos. I watch educational, let's call them videos, whether it's true or not. I have this shotgun philosophy. I watch a whole bunch of videos on the same topic by different people, and the things that get repeated are probably not necessarily, but probably true. So I'll go, okay, enough people have talked about this thing, so okay, I'm going to take it as likely, whether it's true or not. Even they might not know. They may not be necessarily like lying, but everybody believes this one thing, so I'm gonna give it a fair shake.
That can be true for getting a lot of different points of view.
Yeah,
But the problem is that all social media promotes an echo chamber. So if you're listening, I mean, if you watch a video, I don't even know all the names anymore. I try not to. But if you watch a video by like something like Zero Hedge, then you're going to get a video like by Alex Jones as an example, or all those guys, because you're going to get more of what you like. And if you like a lot of alt right
yeah,
stuff, you're going to get more alt right stuff. And even if it's like history, like there's a lot of some historians out there that get a lot of I mean, I don't know, bad reputation for saying things that are
not
where
true.
their judgments colored. I mean, even like Mark Felton got in big trouble a month ago for interjecting stuff that regarding the current state of the British military. Where you cross over from, are you talking history anymore? Or are we talking about modern politics?
Okay.
And so, all I'm saying is that YouTube has a remarkable tendency to reward you with more of what you watch.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I want that.
Well,
I
no,
don't want to have.
not if it's colored by one. I mean, if you're talking about learning something, then you want as many different points of view as possible too.
Well,
And
yeah, yeah,
you might
and
not
I'm
get
learning.
different points of view.
A lot of people know I've been studying physics and astrophysics, and so it's not. It doesn't behoove anybody to lie about certain things or make things up, other than that it might be interesting. Tabby star or the Methuselah star. We're still speculating. We got to go out there, which is impossible, literally in every sense of the word. No one is ever going to go there without some sort of new breakthrough technology that probably won't do it. What it would take to go even a light year, humanity will never see. Something descended from humanity, maybe, but I'm not holding my breath because even after 50 years, what is it? Voyager has made it almost exactly one light day toward Alpha Centauri. So in what is it? Another 17,000 years, it might reach it. I could be off on the numbers, but you get my point. It's not going to happen, and it's going 60 some thousand kilometers a second. It's pretty freaking fast, compared to anything else using slingshot, you know, propulsion, tactics. Um, so things like that aren't really, there's no reason to lie. There's reasons to get the information
Oh,
wrong, and I can filter those out. But when it comes to other things like politics and opinions and religion and philosophy and things like that. There's ample room for people to lie, to proselytize their ideas.
Sure, that's what people do.
Yeah, yeah,
Which
we do
is,
that.
I mean, I don't know. I watch more hobby videos, but then you get people,
I'm,
you get people's opinions on that too. So
yeah,
like
yeah. But
like Bloodworth.
like well, that was something Dean and I were talking about as well about that video. Um, I don't know about you, but I my theory, more so than YouTube is throttling views or any of that shit. I think it's more likely that people are watching other things,
Yep.
especially the news or their favorite commentators or whatever about anything but gaming. There's only so much gaming I can do in a day before I just want to watch something else or do something else. And I think that's far more likely to be the case of why the big YouTubers, big game tubers, are seeing a decline. I think the news cycle and the propensity to put out what I call and everybody else calls fear porn has been ramped up over the last decade far more than anything else. What do you think?
I, I I look at even okay. It's simple math. Even the oldest millennials are in their 40s now.
Hmm.
So I think that younger people are not playing role playing games. And I think that younger people are probably not even doing any tabletop wargaming at all. They're not playing miniature games. Um, they're not playing role playing games. They're probably doing more computer gaming. And like you said, they're
Hmm.
probably more focused on real life, maybe. So I see this desperate grab for market share and audience participation by both the so-called dungeon tubers and by game developers and producers who are desperate to get to broaden their audience,
Hmm.
which is why you see things like they say old white guys can't get out of the hobby fast enough. Well, they're trying to play on the generation warfare by saying like this game is cool for young people, and to make it cool for young people, you got to get the old people out of it.
Hmm. Absolutely.
But so they're caught in this revenue dearth, right?
Hmm.
This drought of revenue because young
They closed it.
people young people don't have money right now, and old people don't have as much money right now because that's been my thing is just the economy, right? People are spending more time working, more time I don't know, buying windows for their
Food.
house or taking care of their plumbing or whatever emergencies have been coming up
Hmm.
instead of consuming YouTube content. That's that was even, but even 20 years ago, even when D&D 5e came out, they knew that if any group of potential 5e players, only one was going to buy the books. The rest were they're going to make photocopies or keep or get a bootleg PDF. Right, one
Yep.
person will buy the book, one person will get a D&D Beyond or whatever it's called subscription, and they'll pass around bootleg PDFs and photocopies, little photocopies out of a book, so they can all play this game. I mean, okay, so
Like we
Jackson's been
did.
playing. Yeah, Jackson's playing D&D now with his friends.
Hmm.
Of the 9 people in his group, how many bought the books? How many even have bought dice?
All of them have dice of their own. Even the girls. Um, they don't buy books because there's no book to use. Um, Nobody knows that but you, me, and the lamppost. He's making everything up as he goes along because it's set in his own world. He has created multiple documents and spreadsheets and things for his players to use. What's up, Cake or Death? So there's no books to buy. If there were miniatures to buy that we didn't provide, they would. If there were books to buy, I know a couple of them would. And when they used to play, about half the players had the 5 ebooks, but we didn't buy any because there was no need. They played, they played less frequently before Jackie started dungeon mastering than they do now, so it was pointless. There is a chance that Jackie will write a role playing game someday. If they keep going, they'll demand it because he does have a player base of between 9 and 12 kids that are playing in his world, which is awesome. But he'll bring down the player's handbook, the DMG, the monster manual, and the traveler. What is it called? Central Supply Catalog.
Yeah. I mean, even
And
people that are
the only book they look at, uh, 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 the only book they actually go in is the Central Supply Catalog, and that's to buy equipment. So it's a Frankenstein's monster of a game.
that's the true definition of a homebrew.
Mhm.
A homebrew is not when you make your own campaign world. That's a pet peeve of mine. We made a campaign world. Congratulations, we did that 30 years ago. Nobody ever called it a homebrew. You
No,
freaking dump truck.
we yeah. I when I realized that I could make my own worlds and left behind Greyhawk and everything else, that was like one of the happiest days of my life. Realizing I could just make worlds. I used to. This is going to sound corny, but I used to make up worlds. I did this for X number of girlfriends, some that never even played. I made you a world. They're like, what? Yeah, I made you a world. With little places named after things that they would go, oh, how cute, kind of thing. I was a teenager. What are you going to do, right? I
What
wanted
are
to
you
get
gonna
laid.
do? But again, not entirely my point. I think my point is people that are even playing 5e are not buying 5e. And people Hasbro is desperate to get people to spend money, which is why they're doing that thing with that new Greyhawk book to try to get people that have money to buy it, and getting the last Gygax who really didn't who played with his dad when he was 5. I mean, for crying out loud, it's not like he
Yeah,
even wrote books for TSR. He
right.
doesn't really have any insight into the headspace of really TSR. He's just got the right last name.
Yep.
And so they backed the truck up to his front porch and they dumped a bunch of money on it and said, "Can I put your name on a book?" And he said, "Yeah, sure," because who wouldn't? I would too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
There's a
you're gonna pay my mortgage. Yeah,
there's a question from Cake or Death. Is that a Shilka hull and background bow or BMP3?
wait. I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't either. Could you elaborate there, Cake?
Oh, right. He's talking about the APC in the background. That's a Russian. It's a Russian missile carrier. It's not finished yet. It's it's
Nice eye.
a it's an Academy model,
Good
but
eyeball there, pal.
I don't remember what the designation is. It's a Russian missile carrier. It's a SAM carrier, but the missiles are actually over here, and they're mostly done too. I just need to finish putting the ultra small pieces on it and paint it. But I bought that for a I bought that for a game that didn't quite get off the ground the way I wanted it to. Is not life.
From time to time.
So,
But yeah, I don't think the hobby's going to get much bigger.
oh
Uh,
no, it's dying. I mean, this is it. I look, like I said, because again, it's the shifting nature. I can't say it again. Appendix N is your canary in the coal mine. You, it's a cultural. I mean, it's a cultural shift, and I can't fight against it.
Well, not just that, but there's a couple of things that people forget. One, this is one of the luxuries of life, and one of the most niche luxuries that that does not and cannot appeal to everyone. There are so many people that could never play this game if their life depended on it. They don't have the mental faculties, they don't have the time, they don't have the inclination, they don't have the money, they don't have the people to play with, even with online. I've seen people and met people from other countries that just they want to so bad, but uh, they just can't make it work with time differences and all the other things that can get in the way. Um,
So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep playing until the wheels fall off, or ride or die? We're all going to find other things to do too eventually. I don't know.
uh, right. There's also the competition with daily for you, swords and stones. Welcome to the show. Sorry we're late or weird. We had some stupidity on my part. Not really stupidity. I just I clicked Rumble and YouTube, but I guess it just didn't take. Sometimes if you move the cursor, you think you clicked on it, but you clicked a hair away and it doesn't register. But like you were saying, the Appendix N, and for a huge part of the potential gaming world, their Appendix N was a bunch of things hanging out over at GameStop or your local video game store. It wasn't books, maybe movies and TV shows, maybe, but more than likely video games.
Well, I definitely think that movies and TV count, but I think
Mhm.
that when your movies and TV have entirely different paradigm than what ours did, and
Right.
I can't blame them for that. Like I said, if I wanted to play an RPG with my youngest son, I would need to base it on Harry Potter and Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
And that would be fine, but it would be, and people would complain, "Whoa, 5e, no characters ever die." Well, no one ever dies in Avatar: The Last Airbender or Harry Potter either.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
Right, and there are a lot of games where that's totally valid and not an issue. Superhero games, not a problem. You know what I mean? If nobody dies, or if they do, they come back. I mean, that's why it blows my mind that like the superhero genre isn't more popular or was never as popular as it could have been in role playing games because it had everything anybody could want. Every genre was included. The plot armor, the no death, whatever you want to call it, was right there. Just baked into the genre. And there are other genres as well, or you could look at the exact opposite and go into horror gaming, which a lot of people it's still very very popular, and people know they're gonna die, so they lean into it instead of shy away from it. Uh,
that's,
so there's
but
that. I think ultimately it's video games and our phones and things like that's doing the most irreparable damage to the hobby. But we're going to find somewhere out there. I kid you not. I can already see it. If someone hasn't already thought about it, someone's going to do it. An app or a game where you paint miniatures. I'm not kidding. I'm right. I see apps for paint by numbers things that are hugely popular. Imagine an app where in the game, let's say it's like a 40K game, right? Where you can then spend hours painting your units. You know what I mean? Your 3D rendered models in the game where you spend time coloring them. There were games, um, what was it, Armored Core, where I spent hours trying to colorize my mech for the next big, arena fight. So why wouldn't someone go, hey, you know what? Instead of 3D printing minis, Why don't we put them in the game where you can color your own chapter of Space Marines?
Yeah, that sounds like something that like you'd find on like Roblox or something like that. So, but
I
if
don't know.
Games Workshop could find a way to monetize it, they will because they're in the same boat everybody else is. They're desperately trying to hold on to their market share, and they're shifting from a physical media based company to an electronic media based company, the same way Hasbro is. I think.
Which is kind of interesting because in my study of physics and astrophysics and things like that, one of the theories that keeps popping up is like the simulationist theory, or the theory that advanced civilizations will do exactly what we're on the precipice of doing, is becoming a completely digital society where we, you know, explore
Sure.
inward in the micro, as opposed to, out there, and become, cyberized, or in, like, in what was that, Ghost in the Shell, where people would, have their brain taken out and put in a box of their own design, so they could just, as long as the machine would work, they would be in a mental holodeck of their own design and desires and blah blah blah, which to me sounds like a living hell. Um, but people are weird.
Oh, sure. Well, if there's it's that's a conspiracy theory too regarding transhumanism,
Mhm.
and you even actually mentioned it inadvertently. You said at the beginning, I might know if we were on the stream live then or not, but you had said there's no way that humanity will ever go far into space because of the sheer impossibility right now of the distance, the enormity of space.
Mhm.
But if you give up hope on that, then you actually empower the transhumanists who would insist that we don't export outward, but to solve problems of resource management, you know, uh, water, minerals, energy, but instead move inward and chop your head off and put your brain in a jar, live in
Mhm.
a virtual reality. And its relationship with I have never really explored its relationship, if any, with simulationist theory, although I have read some on it, and I do know Elon Musk's famous statement that if there is a simulation, the odds that we are not already in it approach zero.
Yes, yes, that's absolutely uh, a
So
possibility.
we are,
I think people are looking at
Russian
it the
stacking
wrong way.
dolls.
I think people are looking at the matrixy slang of it the wrong way, but that's a topic for another day. Um, we have to be realistic about the difficulties, because I don't think space travel is pointless at all. The asteroid belt and our the planets in our system uh, could provide, things that could keep our species alive and the same, as in, not evolving into another creature for a good long time, if we are, you know needing the resources, etc. But the idea of going to another star is so monumentally difficult. It's not just the resources and the distance and the time. There's a bunch of other factors, including, our physical, the way we're built. We're not meant for that. We're not designed to go there. The things that happen to us, and even just short periods of time, are pretty rough. You know, the things that
Right.
happen
But
to
those
us.
some of those same people are saying that we're not meant to live on Earth either. The way that our bodies are set up, the way that gravity affects us, our backs always hurt and our hands always hurt. And people have postulated that that's because we're meant to live on much lower gravity planets than here. I mean, I'm not saying that that's necessarily true. I'm saying, here's a thought though. My great grandma, who I knew, mind you, she died in the 80s. My great grandma was literally born in a covered wagon. She
Okay.
lived to see the space shuttle. And
Yep.
it was 100 years, less than 100 years. She was born in the 1890s. She lived in the 1980s. So did you think that she thought that even traveling faster than the speed of sound was possible? No, but it happened. So I'm not
Mhm.
willing to give up hope on what my mortal brain conceives as impossible because I know how fast science can catch up.
Right, but the laws of physics are not going to change
Well, that's
because
what
of
they
one.
said about the speed of sound too. I'm saying all it takes is one thing. One thing can prove, the Einstein-Rosen bridge is a real phenomenon, and all of a sudden we're traveling across the galaxy as fast as you can blink.
No, that's actually a misconception. But um,
Well, how would you say that?
because the 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 idea of wormholes is purely speculation and fantasy and wishful thinking, more than just because something's possible does not mean there's a snowball's chance in hell of it happening. And
Uh,
at least from what I've been learning in the past 3 months. Now, mind you, that's a tiny little window, and I could learn a whole bunch of other things. But uh, my conclusion, when you add a bunch of different things up on both sides, uh, it there's no reason to believe that a lot of those things are possible. We want them, and trust me, nobody wants those things more than me. That's what no one's going to ever understand. I mean, some of you guys remember when you guys first met me and stuff. I was all into the ancient aliens and all kinds of crap, all kinds of weird stuff. But the more I was able to dig and learn and study and read, uh, the more I realized, just because I want it doesn't mean it's gonna ever happen.
I don't know. When I read about things like the relationship
Take care. Sorry.
between time and gravity, for instance, things that could really and even things that Einstein actually wrote about himself. You know, how heavy gravity can bend time and light.
Hmm.
Gravity is the allegedly the weakest of the four forces of nature, but the one that we understand the least and know the least about, and the one that we're bound by the most of the
Sure.
four. So,
Pain is weakness leaving the body.
well, pain is French bread, and I want some more.
I
Uh,
don't get that.
how do you? It's not. The word pain, Pain, is pronounced in French pan, but it's spelled the same way.
Oh.
So I'm saying that pain is French bread, and I want some more. I'm saying I like pain. I embrace the suck. Bring on the pain. The more pain, the better. Except a kidney stone. That's the one pain I never want to endure ever again. I can take a lot of pain, a lot of different kinds of pain, but the kidney stone had me crawling on my hands and knees like a dog and begging for Jesus to come get me. Not kidding.
Well, careful what you wish for. Um,
Well, don't have a kidney stone.
I all I drink is water, so it's less and less likely every day.
Now, there's a lot of other factors, not just what you eat or drink, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's it, it's a contributing factor. I had actually had a bunch of kidney function tests before I had the kidney stone, and they were all well above average. But
So lately, I've been, I want to run a sci-fi game, but I've come to the conclusion that it absolutely has to be a um, a space opera. Hard sci-fi is just completely out the out the window. I can't do it. Unless like I am going to run my traveler game, and it's going to have to stay within the solar system before I can't. I just can't do it. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. Uh, I can't lie to my players, convince them of things that I don't believe could happen. I mean, it's not the same with regular fantasy because we kind of have bought into that from the very beginning for half a decade that we know this is complete and utter nonsense. There is no way any of this remotely resembles any form of anything we might want to call reality or feasible or what have you. It's the exact opposite of that. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I'm saying you're entitled to your understanding and your opinion, but that seems baffling to me because to me that's two sides of the same coin. To say that, I can't believe I can't like pick some a sci-fi show that maybe based it harder. I mean, I don't want to play. I don't want to play a role playing game based on something like Star Trek, where everything is basically space magic and hand waved away.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How does gravity work on a spaceship? I don't know. It just does.
Mm-hmm.
But to say that that's okay, um, where but to play something based on like I don't know, pick something more in between.
That's funny because for me, even though
Albeto's a good example, I would guess.
never saw it or read
It's
it,
not a it's it's an anim it's a comic with
I
a with an RPG based on it.
I find the actual characters and the people and the way society is even more unbelievable than the space magic of Star Trek. I cannot. I would not. If someone told me we're going to freeze you and wake you up in the future, so that your inoperable cancer can someday be cured, I go okay. But if I wake up and it's fucking Star Trek, I'm killing people. You know, I hate. I fucking absolutely cannot stand the utopian ridiculousness of Star Trek.
Well, that was
Uh,
just an example. I could have said anything. I could have said
no,
Farscape or Lex or
never
any
saw that.
other.
I need to. Nor have I seen Lex. Um, I hear good things at least about Farscape. As you know, my favorites probably either Babylon 5 or Firefly. Probably Firefly.
Well, that's
Even though.
another good example. I mean, Firefly. They're all traveling around in the same mega solar system,
Mhm,
whether it's a binary or trinary, whatever. They don't have FTL light, but they still have anti gravity on their ships.
mhm.
So again, we're talking about hand waving. I don't know how that doesn't get you hung up.
Uh, it has to do mostly with the ridiculousness of if you're going to have if you're going to have no gravity, then you're going to have characters that are incredibly weak and unable to function after 3 to 6 months. They're going to be in hospital beds, uh, shoved back to Earth, so that they can recuperate from the horrific effects of living in an anti gravity situation for any extended period of time, and the ease of storytelling and movement, etc. I've tried running zero gravity combats and situations, like the exploring of a ship and the gravity's out, and it's worse than trying to manage flying, in my opinion. Like flying characters. It's so cumbersome, and the trade off, the payoff, is just not worth it. I know DM James loves it insists on 0 G, and I'm like, and your games probably kind of plod along when it comes to movement and combat because it would have to. That's just everything would be slow um, because you can't move fast without some sort of gravity. If you're flying around with jetpacks through the corridors of your ship, yeah, no. And if you're going to have to do that, why not just flip the switch and turn the gravity on and everything's back to normal,
Well,
right?
because we're talking about depends on what again the kind of game you want to play.
Mm-hmm.
But
Don't get me wrong, limited bouts of it. It's kind of like it's like if you've ever played a game where you've had to tread water or trudge through a swamp or cross a river or something like that. It's cool for a little bit of excitement for a little while, but you don't want to run the entire game where the players are trudging through the swamp. Their movement's half. If they slip and fall, they could drown. All their gear is rotting, and their bodies are also succumbing to trench foot and things like that. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to be in that game.
but people don't want to play. People want to play RPGs on easy mode now anyway.
That's true.
You look at people that play role playing games now. They don't want to deal with things like torches burning out. They don't want to deal with things like counting rations. They don't want to deal with things like carrying capacity and weight.
Mm-hmm.
They want to play games that are entirely on easy mode. They want to cut
Absolutely.
out they
And
want to
and
cut out all the math. They don't
and,
want
and we
to.
have video games to thank for the lion's share of those mentalities, those perceptions.
It's one thing I liked about Matt. Matt had really an interesting take on torches in his game, in that every turn there's a 1 in 6 chance your torch will go out. But that's freaking great. That is awesome, because then you got to try to use your tinderbox, which you also have like a 1 in 6 chance of using because it's a tinderbox. You got to use your tinderbox in the dark, which means you have a lower chance of actually using the tinderbox. I That's a really fun um, additional rule that I'm sure would make a lot of players really upset, because they just want to play the game on easy mode and just roll natural 20s all day long with their +8 to hit and +9 to damage, and never have to deal with anything hard. Because if I
Uh,
want to do anything hard, I would just go outside and deal with real life, right? Right.
um, yes and no. Back to the torch thing. Um, I having used torches underground and other artificial light sources and things like that. Um, I know that if you have a process and you make a thing, it's like when Data was watching water boil. It always took the same exact amount of time, and I think that you could make, find, purchase, whatever you want to call it, torches that are going to last uh, within a couple of minutes, a precise amount of time.
Oh,
And
they do last a precise amount of time. They last exactly what I don't know, an X amount of turns. They last X amount of turns. That's how long a torch lasts.
mhm. and of course, you know, for ambience sake, or to scare them or set a mood, you know, creating conditions where a torch could sputter and go out. Absolutely. But on a
That's
regular basis, doing that to me just seems like needless um, hard mode difficulty settings being turned on arbitrarily. Like always. I think it's better when it's unexpected, because if players look at how they look at so many other random rules, and go to lengths to avoid the mechanics or the metagame around the mechanics, if they know that that's a thing that's going to happen. They're not even going to go in with torches anymore. They're not. They're going to say, well, until we all have a bunch of continual light items, we're just not going in your dungeon.
I don't think B&B has a continual light spell.
Don't know. I filed
It
my
does have a
admin,
light spell, but I don't know if it's a continual light spell.
but you see my point.
Well, I
Okay,
see that, but that's
people are going to do that. They've been doing it since the beginning. They will find a way, and just like with other things online, they will spread the word on how to do the thing, so that they don't have to suffer the consequences of the other thing.
sure. But the other thing has its own consequences, like um, like infravision, and infravision. Though this all play demihumans with infravision, but infravision can't see color. So now
Mhm.
all of a sudden you have puzzles that require color, but nobody can discern the color because they all have infravision. There
I've
are.
never had I've never had any problem, nor would I ever want to take infra or ultra vision away from anybody. I don't give two
I'm
fucks. It
not. I'm
doesn't.
not. I'm not taking
It
it
doesn't.
away. I'm playing it as written. I'm
Right,
saying
but
there are
but
puzzles.
as of second edition, every game that came out took things away to make the game perceptibly more difficult when it wasn't necessary. I like I cannot tell you how many times I've been in games where DMs would get furious if I tried to learn the fly spell because it's too hard for them. They don't want to try to do that. They
No,
don't
I'm
want to play
I'm the opposite. I don't mind making it. I don't mind making it hard. I mean, I'm willing to keep track of torches if
Mhm.
it means that the players have to worry about trying to find their way out of a cave complex in the dark. There's a simple torch counter or time counter in OSC that's actually like clickable. You can have it on your, every so many turns you click and that's a torch or a lamp oil. Every so many turns you click and you roll in the wandering monster table. I'm
Mhm.
willing to I'm willing to do that as a DM, especially if it means that the players get to um, what squirm a little bit.
There's lots of ways to do that. There are lots of ways to do that, but making it a regular thing for the sake of that gets boring. And it comes across as kind of petty. There's so
What,
many different
making
ways
them
to.
use torches is making them, because
No,
torches
no, no,
don't
no,
last
no,
forever, is petty.
no. Any rules that are thrown in or taken out to make it hard when you've already been given all the tools you need since like the beginning to make it difficult. You know what I mean? Uh, Nobody keeps track of. They always do the torches thing, right? But what nobody ever does is food and water.
No, food is, well, definitely. I did notice that regarding water, but definitely people have to track rations because food
They,
only
they should
lasts.
actually they should have to track water even more
No, they
so. Reason
should, and
that.
water is actually even worse because water weighs 7 pounds a gallon, and
Uh-huh.
that will chew up your encumbrance
Hmm.
really fast. And that's it's any 14th century knight that's already wearing 80 pounds of full plate armor is also not carrying around 3 or 4 gallons of water before he goes into battle
Yep.
because he's got people to do it for him. So
Hmm.
um, adventurers should also be doing that same thing. An adventurer should have an army of porters, torchbearers, uh, people to carry the food and the water and the whatnot. Because if they don't, then they'll find themselves dying in a hurry. Yet again, what would the average player say if I say to the player, okay, when was the last time your character had drank any water? And if you don't have water in 3 days, you're dead.
Hmm.
And the Dungeoneer Survival Guide did touch on that, but um,
I'm gonna remind you. Maybe you're not aware of or whatever. But in AD&D, there was a first level cleric spell called Create Water. It was there for a fucking reason. People complain, "Well, I'm not going to be the heal bot." Okay, instead you're going to be the water boy.
No, no,
Make a,
that's true. You got it. But again, okay, your first level clerk, you can cast one spell. What
in
are you? Which one are you
AD
going to do?
in AD&D, if you rolled up a character with a wisdom that did not provide you at least one bonus first level spell, because you could get up to two at first level. If you had high enough wisdom, you could walk into the game with three first levels a day. And if you rolled up I mean, it was like this: you rolled 3d6 down the line, right? Correct. It was pretty much a given. If your stats were mediocre except your wisdom, you were probably going to roll a cleric. You know what I mean? So let's say he just got one bonus second or first level a day. Um, you pretty much might want to be thinking about create water as one of them, and even then, you only create 1 gallon per level. So you could create maybe 2 gallons a day, or maybe you're only creating 1 gallon a day, and everybody else is on their own, so to speak. Or you're creating 2 gallons a day and you split it amongst the party, and you're good. But that's all you do is you're the water boy. Nobody ever tracked water ever, and it pisses me off because, as you know, being something of a survivalist, it's 3 minutes air, three days of water,
I'm
potentially,
familiar.
possibly, maybe if you're like obese, 30 days without food. And no, I don't have work to do. This is my work. I'm retired, uh, but I will be going to do some other stuff. And
Wait,
in fact,
who said that?
Travis,
Well, I am a workaday guy, and this is my day off. So fuck you.
Travis is a good guy. If it's the same Travis, I think. And speaking of which, where the hell you been, man? I ain't seen you in like friggin' months. Um, so
Because
so
I
water,
work a lot.
it was funny too, because like it'd be like everybody would carry like one wine skin of water, right? Okay, let's say it's a gallon. Okay, let's be nice and generous. Make it simple. Okay, you've got your gallon. You go into the dungeon, and then tomorrow you're out of water. And if you think otherwise, okay, well, then you're going to be -1 on strength dex and con, maybe even intelligence and wisdom, every day you go without water until you die. And on the
Sure,
second or third day, it might be -2. Third day, it might be -3. And if one of your stats goes to zero, you're not moving. And you may be dead, because
fair.
that's the way, and that's why create water was created in the beginning. That's why that spell existed, is because Gygax, I'm certain, had a clue, or someone clued him into the 3-3-3 rule. You got to have water every freaking day, and not to mention you know just drinking, but a lot of times.
Well, don't forget the other three. 3 hours in extreme weather.
Right, 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 right. But I
But
mean,
nobody does that in D and D. Nobody does that in D&D either.
I do when it's at sea or in the desert. Otherwise, people just don't go out in the snow. It's
Well, you get hypothermia. You can get hypothermia in a cave pretty easy.
Yeah, but like I said, during the winter, most people are stuck in town, hanging out at the inn or the library or whatever until winter's over. It's just nobody does that.
No, I mean you just go into a cave where the ambient temperature is say in the 50s, and you get soaked to the bone. Your body temperature will start to drop
Yeah.
if you stay wet. If
Okay.
you can't get dry, and then your body temperature is down below 100, and then you're dead, or down
Yep.
below down to the below low 90s.
Mhm.
Your body temperature can't get that low.
Okay, cake. Again, stuff that people never, ever, ever, ever use anymore. I mean, I'm guilty as well, because when I started, I didn't know. 10% of the things I've learned over the years when it came to all of those things. We just didn't worry about water. You got a week's worth of rations. Okay, you got 7 days worth of gaming before you have to start eating monsters. Okay, cool. And if not, maybe the cleric will cast a create food and water spell. Okay, don't worry about it, right?
Yeah.
Or you
Well,
find the stores in the dungeon, the storeroom, and you grab another week's worth of food. Okay, cool. We just nobody did it because uh, I found dealing with Matt and his friends, uh, they're completely oblivious to any sort of survival camping skills whatsoever.
you
The whole
can't camp.
group
You can't camp in a dungeon.
says who?
Says the guy who's rolling on the wandering monster table every so many turns. You can't get 8 hours. Okay, you can camp, but if you're the wizard or the cleric and you need to have 8 hours of uninterrupted rest to get your spells back, you're going to tell me there's no going to be any wandering monsters in that 8 hour period?
Usually, this is how it in my experience, it's always gone down. Um, the party is going to rest for probably 12 hours.
Yes.
They're going to find a room with no, but one door, and they're going to have guards and watch during the evening. And it was usually rolling once an hour for wandering
Yes.
monsters, 1 in 6 per hour. So there's a really good chance that nothing's going to happen during the night. I can't tell you how many times that's literally been the case. You didn't roll a one. I rolled freaking 15 dice and no ones. Even whatever. And the cleric and the wizard, they're gonna have the last watch, which is in the morning when the other players who are watching during the evening will finally get some of their rest. And during their watch, they can use that time to study their spells or do their prayers or whatever. And if some monster tries walking through the door that's probably been spiked or barricaded, then they'll wake the party and they'll go from there. In which case, it's perfectly feasible, uh, if not desirable, for the game to continue. Otherwise, um, the idea, and Omen will disagree with me on this on a whole bunch of levels, but I think it's just uh, it's too simulationist for players to want to deal with. The idea of going back to town, or what, we got to camp outside. No, we can't camp outside because the same rules would apply for wandering monsters.
True.
So so we go into the dungeon for a couple hours, then we have to go back home. And if the dungeon isn't close enough, we probably can't ever actually explore it because we're just going to die from wandering monsters.
Well, I know it's actually even worse because when you leave the dungeon, all the monsters that were there fortify the dungeon against you coming back because they like, hey,
Very
look, there
true.
was a bunch of guys here kicking our asses.
Hmm.
So while they're gone, we're going to bring in all of our friends and
Hmm.
all of our stuff, and
Hmm.
we're going to be ready for those pesky adventurers next time.
Which
And
to
if
me,
you don't do that as a DM, you're stupid. Really, you've got to be you don't
well,
run your monsters. You don't run your
I
monsters
wouldn't go
like
so
that.
far as to call people stupid, because if during the session zero of the game, the players go, "Yeah, we're not playing if we're doing this shit," you could very well not have a game.
No, I'm
Because
saying is the world, regardless of how you play, the world while you're playing in the game, the world is still moving in time. The monsters
right,
aren't just going to do nothing while you're if you leave the dungeon.
right, but the idea that there's an endless supply of kobolds to replace the fallen kobolds, that
No, I never said that either. What I'm saying
they call
is
their
that
friends.
if you're playing, if you play, yeah, it's again, it's faction play now. So now maybe the kobolds do make friends with the ogres or the orcs or the gnolls or whatever else is there to get to be against their common enemy, the adventurers.
And then
That's
the counter to that mentality is my thought, which has always been, why doesn't the local area, whatever area that's next door to the dungeon, just send the army in there to clear it and fuck the adventurers?
eventually they might. Well, I don't know.
Let me put it this way: if my 10th level lord has 250 soldiers in the town to watch the town. But some adventurers go, "Hey, we discovered a warren of goblins and kobolds and some skeletons and shit." The king lord's going to go, "Thank you for the information." Next day, the entire army, or at least 200 men, are going to go over to the dungeon and clear it, and they're not going to have to worry about camping because they're going to clear it in the afternoon, bringing along the wizard, one of the priests, a couple of uh, you know, dwarves who happen to live in the town to look for sloping passages and secret doors and all that crap. And eventually, there won't be any dungeons because the local militias and armies and things like that will forbid adventurers from going into them because of the profits that they can take and keep and not have to worry about only getting 5, 10, 15, 20% from the adventuring party, which is also dumb because if the king knew that players went into the local dungeon, they would just strip search them and take everything they wanted. No, you don't get to keep the magic items. Those are offensive illegal weapons. We're keeping those. Here, you each get 50 gold. Thank you, citizen. Be on your way.
I don't know
Nobody wants to,
how many.
right? I mean, literally, if you're a party, you were in a party and you got back from the dungeon and you're walking through the front gates and they say, "Hold on here. We smell gold. Come into the room. Take off all your clothes." It'd be the last game you ever ran with those people. But that is, in fact, what would be more likely than not. Let's think. We are trying to simulate the Middle Ages and the behavior of, lords versus peasants, right? That's how I see it. That's why you gotta suspend certain things for the sake of the good old fashioned desire to actually play. You're gonna have to have some give and take. As a DM, you're gonna want, like you said, to squeeze the players and make them squirm, but the players are gonna rail against all of that. That's literally like in their job description is to find a way around every one of your attempts at putting the screws to them. So there's got to be some give and take. It's just each group is different. What people are in the mood for because you never know. There might be situations and you know uh, extreme players who want to play at in hard mode and like they're like, bring it on, we'll take whatever you throw at us. Versus people who are not so well versed or not so up for the hard mode play style.
Well, they're not for any play style now. They want to play. They said just go play freaking Baldur's Gate then. They don't want to do anything. You know what? They want the endorphin hits of rolling dice. That's it. Just sit at home and roll dice. May as well jerk off for crying out loud. Because you're not. They don't want to role play. They don't want to actually play the mechanics of the game. What do they want? It seems like they don't want any of that.
Well, I'm going to address a couple of things. First off, like I did, I think it was last week. Role playing means different things to different people. Not everybody role plays at your level. As a matter of fact, Bo, I hate to break it to you, but like less than 1% role play at your level. To the point that it may be uh, you know uh, unpleasant for some your play style. So be careful. There are people out there, especially in 3 hour sessions, that just want to kick down doors and kill monsters and take their stuff and rinse and repeat. Um, Shauner wasn't wrong when he said some of the things he did. It's just that without him here to continually remind us, there there aren't that many people who really want to uh, role play as an ROLL instead of R. Yeah, or you know what I mean. They just want to roll dice. They don't care about playing in character. They just want an adventure game. But because the word adventure game or the phrase isn't is actually well known, nobody ever put it on the game boxes. They said role playing game, and people think if they're rolling dice and they're playing their character, they are in fact role playing. When by the strictest of terms, just barely. So there's that to consider. The other thing is, the limited time that we get, Bo, when we play online. It's not like in the old days where we had 6, 8, 12, 24 hours to play in a stretch, so that you could, everybody could get their fill of what it was they were actually wanting. It was like we were playing last night in Nerdy's Dead Rain game. Uh, There was no role playing, none whatsoever. Maybe some comments here and there, but there just wasn't time. We were in a situation, a rescue thing, and it was all tactics and strategy. And I know each player thought that what they were saying to each other was role playing. It's as if that they didn't need to say and preface every sentence with "my character says this." We were just saying the things. No funny voices, no accents. We were just we've got 2.5 hours to to play and rescue the girl, the princess, whatever you want to call it, and that's what it was. There was no getting up on soapboxes. There was no you know talking in funny voices, accents, any of that, and everybody there thought they role played the hell out of the situation. Of course, if Shauner or El Jaguar or some other folks came in and listened, they would be like, "What the hell is this shit?" You know what I mean? So it's we're not all on the same level or even the same wavelength, which is why I think we need to do another couple of videos on the topic. Thanks for the ideas. Getting out my pen before I say adios. Bo,
Sure.
are you free tonight?
Think so. Why not?
Just double checking.
One of the yeah, free tonight. I'm not going
Okay.
anywhere.
I'll have to check with the regular cast of characters.
Yeah, I haven't talked to anybody in a week. I haven't seen anybody on Discord in forever. Like there was no traffic on Discord for like the last 2 weeks.
I check Discord pretty regularly, but it was one of those kind of slow weeks, where I wasn't doing much. I didn't even make a video this morning, because I was in a thing that required my attention elsewhere and couldn't do that. But
I may make a video when I get back from the gym. I've got some things on my mind. Not that anybody will watch anyway, but I get to vent into the void.
I watch all your videos, always have, always will.
I know, but I mean, sincerely, you get like it's just like what what Rick was talking about.
Rick.
Richard,
Oh,
Rich.
oh, okay, okay.
He was talking about lack of lack of engagement, but it's fine. God did not put me on this earth to beg for attention from people. But
Yeah,
maybe one of these days, in 100 years, if this medium's still around, so you might find something I had to say about painting or whatever, and think that maybe that was a good idea, or maybe they'll get some comic relief out of it. Or maybe in
Eventually,
another 4 or 5 years, all these servers will be down and none of this will exist anyway.
maybe. We have always uh, come at this as these are home movies for Jackie and his children and grandchildren, etc. Uh, there's a whole bunch of these videos he's never going to watch or care about, nor will his family unless they, continue to role play as well. Hey, Jackie, in the future, um, but you never know. The older videos, absolutely. Um, you may want to look at that. Maybe make some videos for your kids to especially if they ever you know pick up gaming more. If it becomes a thing. Oh, TM James, I swear to God, just as I'm getting
We're,
ready, freaking
yeah, we're leaving, man.
what's up?
Oh well, that's fine. That's
No,
fine.
no, it's cool. We can stick around for
Your
a few.
camera's not on.
Give you the bums rush or anything. Always a pleasure to see you, bro.
Always a pleasure
A
to
rocky start today, but how you doing?
I'm okay.
better to
Is
be.
that Bo over there painting those damn death guards?
Yep, I got about a million. I got about a million of them.
Oh my goodness. They're
I didn't.
actually, I don't know how they are in the new edition, but they used to be really strong.
Yeah, I don't even know how the. I haven't even started on the Terminators yet.
Yeah. Well, when I played, the death guards special thing was they got like a bonus to their toughness.
Right. I
So
don't
you
think
had
they do
like
that anymore. Yeah.
basic troops with a 5 toughness. That's pretty, pretty
I
good. Let's
I
just say.
wish that they've kind of made everybody a horde army, and I don't like that. I ideally, I mean, in lore wise, if I wanted a Death Guard army, what I would want is I want like 50 cultists, and then another 20 or 30 poxwalkers, like 10 plague marines, and then 1 or 2 rhinos and a leader. I want like a whole bunch of chaff, a few elite units, a vehicle, and or 2 vehicles, and some kind of leader, and not a named character either. Like a Lord of Pestilence or something like that. Not a you
Well, you
know
get my vote for the guy to write the next chaos thing because that really should be how it is. Like any unless you're doing, I think I don't know, his camera went off. I think that anyone that any chaos army should definitely involve a lot of cultists, but for some reason, unless it's like a black crusade you're trying to represent, but whatever, right? But yeah, Shadow, you don't gotta stay on for me. I mean, I just was popping in. I overslept today for some reason. And then I was like, well, we'll see. I saw you were still on, so.
Don't feel bad. I forgot to hit the YouTube button, so I was only streaming to this Rumble for the
Hey,
first half hour.
I mean, one day that will probably be all of us. So. I mean, the way YouTube's doing their things, it's kind of just a matter of time, really,
It's not YouTube.
before we're all on Rumble, which is
Well,
fine.
I don't think it's YouTube. It's the audience.
Well, the thing is,
YouTube.
YouTube has set up like this thing where it's no longer about you and I, people like us, uh, doing stupid shit. I mean, automatically, like all of the mainstream news guys, their videos get pushed, and the way the algorithm works for someone like you or I is they intentionally push it to a small, not even your subscribers, a small number of your subscribers, right? And then the more interaction they get from that small number of subscribers, the more of your subscribers they push it to.
Yeah,
So it's really weird when you put a video out. Say you've got 1,000 subscribers, you put a video out, the 1,000 subscribers don't get the video. Only a certain number of them do. And if those guys don't watch and comment, then the video dies. I
That
didn't know this, but I
that
do now.
seems if YouTube literally admitted to that, they're fucking retarded.
Yeah, yeah, they did, and I actually heard it from a guy that I believe 100% about it. That's how the algorithm works
That's
for
literally
everyone except for
suicidal.
like uh, Fox News, CNN, people like that. Their stuff automatically gets pushed on the top of the stack.
That literally makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, that is why so many people have, in the very recent past, left and went to Rumble. Yeah, I think I don't want to be a liar on accident, but that might have actually been Razor Fist that actually described how that shit worked. It was either Razor Force or Nuxanor that describes, how I mean, used to, if you had subscribers and they hit the bell, they got whatever you put out. But it's not like that anymore if you're like a small creator.
It seems like even for that doesn't even actually help them. You know, it would literally have to be like you said, news channels paying them to do that for it to be profitable.
Well, there you go. You figured it out.
And I don't watch any news channel to begin with. So
Gotcha.
at what point are they going to say you're not allowed to use YouTube because you don't watch what we tell you to watch? That's next. That's like the inevitable conclusion if they're going to do that sort of thing because they're going to find that people want to watch what they want to watch, not what they're told to watch, and uh,
And therefore, they can't force you to watch what they want you to watch. They can just make it really hard for you to
no,
watch
they,
what.
they literally could. It's like they could literally make it in the future where if you don't spend X number of hours watching their recommended stuff, you don't have access. They could literally do that.
Yeah,
It would
see,
be it would be
I
just
don't
as
think
dumb
they
as what
they
they're
want to do that.
supposedly doing.
I think what they want to do is finesse it to where you end up watching what they want you to watch, but you don't even know that you made that choice. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
ideally, you're right, but people are stupid enough and desperate enough for entertainment that they could literally be forced to do exactly what they're told, and they would happily go marching down that road.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, homie. I guess I just had a higher hope for humanity, but yeah, you're right.
Have you
There.
been outside lately? You haven't been outside today. Tell me you haven't been outside lately without telling me you haven't been outside lately.
Well, I mean, I was out in the front yard walking my dog. Does that count?
No. Have you been
Oh,
to Have
then
you been
yeah.
to your local grocery store? Have you been to the mall? Have you been to a swap meet?
I sat in the car today when my wife ran in the Circle K to grab a Diet Coke for me and everything.
Did she come back to the car saying these people are idiots?
My wife is so nice. I don't know. She didn't say anything like that. I saw the people walking around though, and some of them, like there was this woman, and she was wearing like golden pajamas and like the cloth slippers with like sequins all over them.
Hmm.
And I was just like, that is one hell of a way to dress. You know what I mean? It's like you're in public walking across the Circle K parking lot and you're just wearing your pajamas and stuff. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm the best dresser, but I will at least throw on some jeans or slacks and a shirt, before I go out in public. But what are you gonna do? People do what they want, right?
Always have, always will, until they're not allowed to.
Mhm. So that's about as close to actual contact with like strangers as I've gotten in probably a month. But I mean, I've talked about this on my video. I don't know if you're aware, even though you've known me as long as you have, but I never leave my house. Un-
Yes, I do.
unless I'm with my wife, and typically, even then, I don't like it. Um, this is kind of a in the course of my life. This is a new situation called learned helplessness.
Yeah, I was just reading about that yesterday. That's funny.
Yeah, basically because when I was injured, I could only ever stay home. Over the years of only ever being able to stay home, I've kind of convinced myself to be afraid of ever leaving.
Yeah, don't do that.
Well, that's why when I didn't go to DaveCon, and I actually talked to my doctor, and I was like, I really wanted to go, but I couldn't make myself go. And my doctor is like, look, man, he's like, don't beat yourself up. You've been kind of the way you are for years and years and years. Start slow. He's like, maybe just try to go to the store by yourself once or twice before you try to fly across the state, by yourself. And I was
Mhm.
like, yeah, that makes more sense because, basically I have to reacclimatize myself to being the outgoing person I was 15 years ago.
I'm
And
sure you'll make it.
I think I will, but it's just like you said, you were reading about it. Apparently, if you do things, you can train yourself to basically become a way.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And I basically just did that. Is what I'm saying. You know.
Well,
So
you could do like I do, and I don't go out much, but I look forward to it because when I go out, I buy stuff. I buy stuff that I want. I buy stuff that I need, and without it, I don't buy my groceries. I don't have them delivered except in extreme emergencies when like the car's not working or the family's away, and I'm not going to go to the store every single day to buy three things. I can just have Walmart deliver a week's worth of groceries, and I'm good. Um, like I love going to Hobby Lobby.
mhm.
I freaking love that place. We don't really have a regular game hobby store that I could go to buy miniatures and crap like that. And it's a good thing that we don't because I would be there every day. I would just no one can
Right.
stop me. I have more money than I know what to do with. I could just live there.
Well, that
Um,
must be nice. Cake or death is a stay-at-home dad. Yeah, that's becoming so much more common these days
yeah, yeah. I mean, uh,
because women are starting. It's like something flipped, and now women are starting to dominate so many fields and
well,
careers.
yeah. I mean, like, I'm going to be incredibly sexist right now because I think it's funny. But if I had to choose between hiring a smoking hot, female or some dude to work a job that either or could do easily, you know which way I'm going to go.
Well,
If I want something done, at a more physical level,
right.
what happened to Bo?
He, I don't think he left. I think he got kicked.
Yeah, I was painting, so I didn't notice. I thought he was just
Well, I told you,
leaving
I was
me.
like, there. Yeah, I said Bo just vanished.
Sorry, I was
But to
painting.
Travis, I'm retired, Travis. I mean,
Ditto.
I'm old. You can't see me. You see this pile of like Reaper miniatures or whatever, but not super old. But the job I worked, you either retire out very young or you die. So uh, you know,
Hmm.
so yeah,
Well, I'll
I
see you tonight, Bo. If you're still listening. Sorry, I was uh,
yeah, because we were
getting
in the
into this.
middle of an actual conversation about chaos, and I said, "Well, you got my vote to write the next freaking codex because I like the way he's thinking about there should be cultists, right?
Sure.
Um, but yeah, it never really happens. Even though when the one dark Future box set or whatever came out, Dark Heresy or whatever, it came with shit tons of cultists, and I bought a ton of them, and I still have a ton of them. Uh,
That
but
might
they're not
have some.
really
Well,
specific to any chaos squad. They're
isn't
just,
that the box set we were talking about with the dreadnought and the Death Angel bikes?
it was Dark Angels, and yes, it had the new Dreadnought, which is kind of like they call it a Hell Spawn or whatever.
Yeah, they can get bent. It's a dreadnought.
Yeah, they changed that, and it came with all of your little cultists running around, with like crappy weapons and armor, being cultists, and that's cool. That's really cool. Now, the one army they never actually made officially, but it's easy to make if you know how to do it, is the Blood Pact. And I did make a Blood Pact army using heads I bought online and uh, Cadians, plastic Cadians I had laying around. Because really, the only thing that designates Blood Pact from whatever is they all wear these like iron grotesque masks, with like hooked noses and devil faces and stuff like that. And they wear red, like sickly rotten blood red. So yeah, if you go online, you can actually find the heads, that have the big hooked noses and horns and all that, like men pose from Japan, but they have like the modern or almost World War II looking steel helmets on,
Hmm.
and they fit 100% to your plastic Cadians. And then if you're feeling really frisky, then you can throw like auto guns and shit like that, all kinds of different weapons on to make them look more ragged while they're still in a uniform. And that comes out really well.
I'm gonna have to go dig around and see if I can't find all that stuff from that particular set because I bought like just pieces out of it. We were talking about the other
Yeah,
day
that's what you were
where
saying. Yeah.
that I could just buy, because people were selling on eBay just the motorcycles or just the dreadnought. I got some cultists, but I kind of want to paint the motorcycles now that I'm thinking about it. It's like, yeah, that would be kind of fun. I really don't have that many motorcycle minis at all. I'm wondering if I can like use the motorcycles for other things or if the legs are like built in kind of thing.
Right. I don't remember exactly. I think the legs may be built in. Um,
I hate when they do that. I like it better when they're not. Uh, but now I think about it, I probably have like maybe three motorcycles other than those in my whole freaking collection. I've got some old Shadowrun and maybe some Grenadier Future Warriors. Do you remember those? It
mhm.
was a line of Grenadier miniatures. I don't know for what game, but it had some really cool stuff in it. This let's see if I can pull it down.
I've got some bikers from
No, I can't.
what was that war game? Damn it. It's in space. There's all these factions.
Oh, Void.
No, it's not Void. It's like it's made by the French.
Hmm.
It's like damn it, I can't remember. But one of the factions is basically China and Japan together, and they have like bikers. Actually, more than one faction has bikers, but
Yeah, that's not ringing a bell at all.
well, one faction that I played was Pan-Oceania, and they were like super Catholic. So, basically it's Templars, but in power armor.
Hey, I'm gonna have to let you guys go. I got a kind of an important call here. I will see you
Okay,
guys maybe later tonight.
maybe catch you.
Okay, take care, man.